The final score, Mansfield Town 0, Wrexham 0. I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC, and I've got to say, I think that is probably a decent result, a very decent result. We had to fight to get it, but the fact is, Arsenal's defeat to Lens last night means that Mansfield are the only remaining unbeaten team in the top four divisions of English football, and we could have nicked it at the end in a hugely improved second half performance. So, a couple of changes made by Phil Parkinson. The key one, of course, being that Ryan Barnes is serving the first of a three-match suspension. So Jacob Mendy had to come in on the wrong side, so to speak, playing as a right-sided wing-back. And the early stages were all Mansfield as they penned us back. But I was pleased with the discipline that we showed because we really were able to fight and dig in that penalty area. Mansfield's movement and passing was really, really good there. Midfield was quite fluid. I like the way that their split strikers drop off and drop wide and create space for Davis Keeler-Dunn, who we all know about because he had a spell with us and he's on fire this season and he could see just what a threat he was. But it's got to be said that there weren't many clear-cut chances, really. Keeler-Dunn without a heading opportunity, but that was sort of it in terms of clear in-the-box opportunities. And so I think Wrexham dug in and defended well and protected Okonkwo well. First chance Mansfield had, really, after having all the possession, was in the 10th minute. Akins doing well to beat O'Connor and pull the ball back from the right-hand side, but Lewis's powerful shot was well blocked by James Jones. Then a mistake by Elliot Lee, who miscontrolled it, facing his own goal, allowed Lewis in again to drive it in from 20 yards. Okonkwo got down to his right and was able to parry it. It's a save I think you'd expect him to make anyway, and from outside the box. We actually had an opportunity soon after that. McLean putting in a cross to the far post, Tozer having a free header from that corner, but the keeper doing really well as Tozer headed it on target from about 15 yards out to dive to his left and push it away while Mullen was trying to get in front of him like Wanu Garte in the Millennium Stadium to just get the tiny deflection that would take it beyond him. Then it was straight back down the other end, though. A ball in from the right-hand side to the far post. Mendy miscontrolling it. Superb tackle by Aaron Hayden to halt Maris 6 yards out, or he surely would have scored. And then in the 25th minute came that big, big chance for Mansfield. It was a really nice move. It ended with the left-back McDonald sweeping in a great cross. Keeler-Dunn got between the centre-backs, free header about 8 yards out, and he put it far too straight, and it was an easy take for Okonkwo. A massive, massive chance, that. The pressure continued. On the half hour, Lewis fed Davis Keeler-Dunn again, and he hit a 20-yarder after beating O'Connor, and it hit the post and bounced back out again. It was such a brilliant snapshot. He was just bursting into the right channel and hit it as he entered the area from a wide-ish angle on the right. And it just flew across the goal, hit the far post, bounced straight back out again. Within a minute, another opportunity. Nice pass inside for Clark, running into the box. Hayden making an excellent tackle again, or he would have been one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And as Wrexham really had to dig in, a couple of minutes again, a really good move by Mansfield. Terrific pass by Maris to switch it over to the left-hand side. McDonald pulled the ball back in first time, and Lewis, 15 yards out, maybe could have done better with it. He hit his shot over the bar. Wrexham had some threat, not much in the first half. We struggled to get the ball out. We weren't really able to get out through Mansfield's press very often. But we did have a moment when Palmer did really well in his own half to turn and send a pass to Mullen, who was running in on the goalkeeper. He was given offside. It was a tight call. It was a big decision by the linesman. But it did offer hope to Wrexham because it did show that when Mansfield were pressing up the pitch, if you could bypass that press, they were leaving gaps at the back that you could perhaps exploit. But there was one more chance in the second half, a minute later, and that came to Mansfield. Clark, who was an object of Wrexham's desire when we were adding midfielders last season, striking a great shot from 25 yards, aiming for the bottom right corner. Okonkwo did really well to get down and get enough on it to push it onto the outside the post. And Wrexham survived. But the second half was different. Wrexham got closer to their opponents, I thought. Mansfield weren't able to move the ball around in that area around 30 yards out from goal, because they were being constantly hounded by Wrexham, who put much more effective pressure on the ball. And the game changed, and Wrexham started to get the ball down, started to get the ball in Mansfield's half, and started to threaten. A good free kick by McLean, for example. Palmer met it 10 yards out with a terrific flick header, which just went past the post. What the replay behind the goal makes it look like it maybe actually flicked to the post on the way past. And then some good pressure by Wrexham, finding Mendy on the rise. Mendy, a different man in the second half, getting up the pitch a lot more. He went round Cargill, who's already been booked, and Cargill hit him with a clumsy challenge, which really, I think, should have been a second yellow for him. The ref played advantage, and the ball was scrambled behind for a corner. Cargill, very lucky. Mendy about a yard away from getting into the box down the goal line. And if he'd done that, the whole game would have opened up completely. And it was a bit of a hack to stop him. Cargill, very fortunate. The corner itself, McLean swept to the far post. Hayden challenged close in on goal. Defender managed to nod it downwards. Bit of a scramble as O'Connor turned to try to get to it. His shirt was definitely pulled. It's again one of those judgment calls. O'Connor wanted the penalty. He felt that he lost control of the ball in the goal mouth because his shirt was pulled backwards, and his shirt was a good foot back from his body. But ref decided it didn't affect anything, and no penalty was given. There was a moment of danger at the other end. Gale came on to add a bit of height up front. He drove down the right channel and hit a powerful shot, which Okonkwo parried at a near post, pushing it behind, and then from the corner, swung to the far post. McLean lost possession in his own penalty area, and it was Cargill this time who hit a terrific hit from about 15 yards out, but it struck a teammate lying on the floor, and the ball ricocheted away. That was by far Mansfield's best spell of the second half, but again, Wrexham dug in and survived it, and then started to make chances. An excellent move, ending with Mullin pulling the ball back for Lee. He hit a shot which was blocked. He could have squared it onto McLean, who was in space in the penalty area, who would have had a much easier chance. Wrexham made a first change, with Andy Cannon coming on for James Jones, with 19 minutes left, and immediately we're creating again. Mendy putting in a cross, Mullin doing well to pick the ball up on the edge of the area, turn, and get a shot away, which was deflected over for a corner. Possibility that it could have been a penalty. Reed lunged in, didn't make contact with the ball, did clip Mullin. Mullin stayed on his feet because he wanted to get the shot off. If he'd gone down, he'd have posed a significant question for the referee. The corner, swung in by O'Connor, was met by Hayden in a good position, but he just couldn't get it where he wanted it, and it put it straight at the keeper. Mansfield, getting up the other side, were handed an opportunity to take the lead. Tozer, who otherwise had been impressive, sloppily passing straight to Keeler Dunn, who carried it forward and looked to square it for Gale to be one-on-one, and it was Hayden there again, a full stretch, doing brilliantly to intercept and deny the opportunity. The game went into its last stages, 5 minutes left, and the inevitable Stephen Fletcher introduction happened, Ollie Palmer going off. And immediately he was involved in things. A lovely move down the right-hand side between Mullin and Fletcher and Cannon, allowing Cannon to pull in a cross, which was deflected up in the air and fell invitingly for James McLean. But he totally mishit it about 8 yards out at the far post, and the ball went way off target. That was Wrexham's last chance. Mansfield's last chance in the last minute. So Keeler Dunn persisting brilliantly about 30 yards out, twisting and turning, and then finally about 25 yards out, once he found a bit of space, hitting a shot which whistled past the right post. Dolby came on for Mullin in added time, but yeah, the die was cast. It was a 0-0, a competitive and entertaining 0-0, and a good result for Wrexham, I would argue, away to some high-quality opposition. Mansfield looked very, very good indeed. But like I said, they played well. They threatened a lot, but had a couple of chances in the box, really. So I think Wrexham can feel satisfied that they held them at arm's length pretty well. Looking at the performances, well, Arthur Okonkwo had a good first league clean sheet for us. Lots of floated balls to the far post, which he came out and plucked out of the air very comfortably. Decent save low to his right in the first half, but the one he touched onto the post was the best one of the lot. But yeah, he continued to make a good impression. The centre-backs, well, Hayden was excellent. I thought 3 massive interventions in the penalty area to deny Mansfield having a clear sight of goal. Excellent work by him. Toza, I thought, did very well. Defended our 6-yard box really well. Had that one aberration, but apart from that, looked very solid. O'Connor at left centre back as well. The whole unit played pretty well. Uh, Aikens occasionally caused a little bit of issue for him with his sort of explosivity, but not too often. It was a solid game for O'Connor. The wing backs. Now, Mendy, interesting. First half looked a little bit uncomfortable. Naturally, he's on the wrong side of the pitch. Did have that one little miscontrol, but generally, I wouldn't say it was anything too catastrophic. In the second half, I don't know whether he'd been given instruction or encouragement by Parkinson, but goodness me, he started really driving up the pitch. He started to go into the inside channel rather than around the outside, as he normally would, which allowed him to cut onto his left foot. And I thought he had a very good second half, got a couple of decent balls into the box and did some good defensive work too. So all credit to Mendy for that. McLean on the left certainly was happier than he was the last 2 games. Still made some mistakes in his own half, which could have been costly. Put some good balls in. Missed an opportunity right at the end, though. So he was all right on balance, but he'll have been still a little frustrated, I think, with himself. In midfield, well, George Evans, for me, man of the match. In the centre of the 3 was outstanding. The number of interceptions and tackles that he made. He tidied up so much in his own half. Uses the ball well, but that ability to break things up, I think, is really the big quality that he brings in. Either side of him, Elliot Lee again, a bit of a quiet game. Lots of good hard work. Covered things well. Didn't quite have the spark that he's had most of the season. And on the right-hand side, again, James Jones a bit unlucky to be taken off. Again, great shift. Really good work supporting the right-hand side. In the first half, we didn't create much down the right-hand side, to be honest. In the second, he covered Mendy diligently. Unlucky to be brought off in the end. And then up front, well, Palmer was excellent. Thought Palmer really battled. In the first half, they had virtually no service to 2 strikers. But my word, he put in a hell of a shift, working hard, dropping deep, beating the centre-backs in the air more often than not. Really impressive. And Mullin, I thought, did well. First half, really starved of the ball, but when he was able to get on the ball, he was threatening, was looking to make things happen. Looked good. So, good point. Good clean sheet. And now we move on to another tricky away assignment, but I quite like getting some of these awkward away trips out of the way now so that we can maybe start to build from here. With the final score of Wrexham weren't at home. Mansfield Town 0, Wrexham 0. I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.